Even from inside I could see her mouth forming words, and it looked like she kept saying dangerous and threatened over and over while pointing at my house. A woman in plain clothes ducked through my broken doorframe and introduced herself as a crisis negotiator, crouching down in front of me with this careful expression like I might snap at any moment. She started asking me gentle questions about what happened tonight. So I explained about the morning incident with Karen jumping in front of my car, how I'd invited them for drinks to smooth things over, and how Mitchell had come by to watch the game instead. Across the room I could hear Mitchell telling another officer his version, his voice shaking as he explained that his wife had been calling the police on neighbors a lot lately, 3 times just this month, and the officer taking notes looked more and more doubtful with every word. The negotiator asked to see my phone to verify our timeline, so the officer who'd taken it handed it over, and she scrolled through my texts with Mitchell about watching the game, then walked over to check that my TV was actually on the sports channel we'd claimed. She took photos of the pizza box on my coffee table, and the beer bottles lined up on the side table, documenting everything while more officers tramped through my house taking pictures and notes. After about an hour of this, 2 officers brought Karen inside to give her statement, but they took her straight to my dining room while moving Mitchell and me to separate bedrooms, so we couldn't hear each other or her. I sat on my bed with my wrists still zip-tied, watching through my bedroom window as more police cars kept arriving like this was the crime of the century instead of a crazy neighbor making stuff up. The officer guarding me kept checking his watch and shaking his head, and I heard him mutter something about overtime and false reports when his radio crackled with updates. Through my closed door I could hear muffled voices, Karen's high-pitched tone cutting through even when I couldn't make out the words, then long silences, then more talking. Finally, the police captain himself came into my room carrying a tablet, and he pulled up security footage from the neighborhood gate that showed Mitchell walking up my driveway at exactly the time we'd said, carrying his six-pack and looking relaxed, not like someone being held against his will. The timestamp on the footage matched our story perfectly, showing Mitchell had been here for hours before Karen called claiming he was in danger. The captain's face got harder with every frame he reviewed, and he called someone on his radio to bring the woman who'd made the report to the living room immediately. 2 officers walked Karen into my living room, and she was still talking non-stop about how she'd seen suspicious activity and knew something bad was happening. The captain stood there with his arms crossed while Karen kept pointing at me and saying she'd been watching my house for months because she knew I was up to no good. Mitchell came out of the other bedroom with his guard, and his face went white when he saw his wife standing there in her pom-pom slippers, still trying to convince everyone she was right. An officer near the captain leaned over and told him they'd searched the whole house and found nothing. No weapons, no drugs, no evidence of any crime at all. The captain's jaw got tight, and he stared at Karen, who was still rambling about how she'd heard screaming,